A few weeks ago, a handful of creators got their hands on an exclusive look at NASCAR 25, and I want to give a huge shout out to two specific creators, my favorite Jeff Favignano as well as Komodo Gaming, who both gave me permission to use the footage that they captured in their play session to make this video. So none of this footage is mine, it's from their creator play session, and you can watch their full raw gameplay down below, linked in the description. And we're starting with Jeff Favignano's gameplay, and before I go any further, I want you guys to listen to the car go up through the gears.
Take your time out there and let the car come to you.
How about that? The game truly does sound awesome. The sound design is fantastic with the next gen car, and all the vehicles in the game sound different, from trucks to Xfinity to Cup to ARCA as well. And we're going to jump straight into the race that Jeff did at Gateway, or Worldwide Technology Raceway, as Kyle Busch. You saw Jeff mention on the bottom of the screen some of his game settings. He was not running on the hardest difficulty, and he was running on 97% AI with about a 15% stability help in the controller as he would get underway. And it's important to note as well that this is not the final build of NASCAR 25, and the developers, and specifically Komodo Gaming's capture footage that he got, he mentioned, of course, that the developers were well aware of like some AI flaws, and that this was not the final version of like AI that we're getting in NASCAR 25. So do keep that in mind, because you're going to notice not necessarily many flaws here at Gateway, but definitely you're going to see some later in this video from Komodo's footage. But here's Jeff racing around as Kyle Busch, and he's, like I said, he's not running on the hardest difficulty. He's running on 97%, and you can immediately see that there's a challenge here for him. I mean, he's running P18, looking actually to fight with Ty Gibbs, and again we're seeing the AI. They're leaving room for the driver. There's behind Jeff here, he's got a couple of battles with Hocevar and Alex Bowman trying to pass that number 77 Spire Chevrolet, so there's some good battles going on. The AI, they're running the different lanes up ahead, so they're not all planted at Gateway here to just one line, so that's great to see. And as well, as Jeff heads down into turn one, he actually goes a little bit too deep, and you're going to see Hocevar come back up the inside. So there's some good fighting to be had here with the AI, which is awesome. And of course, the customization that the AI are going to have, you can really customize on how they react to, of course, contact and stuff like that, and starting, how they start, like how compressed the field can be and stuff. Because one thing I'm noticing here is it seems like the field spreads out pretty quick. We're only on lap 4, and especially in the next gen era, they don't spread out to this extent. Now looking again at the roof cam, and look at the reflection of the 17 car on the roof, the track, the curbs, the wall, the fence, all the billboards, all that stuff's all reflecting onto the roof of the car. I mean, graphically the game does look pretty awesome. One thing I'm not noticing in any of the gameplay we've seen so far, and I don't know if it's just coincidence or what, but we haven't seen any in-race leaderboard, so you haven't been able to see who's running where. I also haven't seen a car status. I feel like that would be insane to leave those two things out, so I'm going to say surely it has to be there. We just haven't seen it yet. I mean, even NASCAR Heat Evolution, with how bad of a game that was, had those things. So yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful. But like I said, I mean, it's key as well to note, even with the AI and stuff, this was far from the final version of NASCAR 25. But Jeff, coming to the end of this race here, approaching lap 10 at this point, is fighting to the inside of Chris Buescher. And again, the AI leaves some room. You can see the 17 kind of reacts there. The 8 coming up the racetrack kind of bobbles a little bit there, moves over a little bit further, but he doesn't just let Jeff go. But there you see into turn 1, he kind of leaves quite a bit of extra room. Like the AI maybe are a little bit too generous, you know, like they're if you overdrive the corner, they kind of do everything they can to kind of stay out of your way, almost kind of like iRacing AI in a sense, but there it goes to 17 through on the inside, so it's almost like they were a bit scared of contact. It's like, well, the guy on my inside overdrove the corner, but I'm going to let him have it anyways, but hopefully that's something in the settings that we can kind of tweak on as well. But Jeff finished 17th, and you can watch his full video with no commentary, pure raw sound and gameplay, unedited. If you want to check that out, the link is down below in the description. Huge shout out to him again for allowing me to use his footage, and same to Komodo Gaming, who we're going to check out right here. He was racing at Texas Motor Speedway as Chase Elliott. Now this is where I noticed some flaws, and I'm going to be I'm not going to be extremely harsh, because it was very well noted, and Komodo at his video mentioned it himself that the developers said this is not the final version of the AI. So I'm going to be pretty nice, but I am still going to make note of what I see here. And as he heads down into turn 3 here in Texas, again, you see that blue on the speedometer in the bottom right. That means he's got some draft as he pulls out a line. No draft. Now it comes back. As again, you see the top left, top right. You got the positions, you got the lap counts, and the team message, or the spotter message, comes up under the mirror, as actually Chris Buescher got really close to the back of Komodo's 9-car back bumper right there. So the AI is certainly not afraid to get close to use it. Once again, they kind of react weird when they're about to make contact, like they really want to avoid contact. But I'm hoping that's something we can tweak on. Now you see some different lanes being run up ahead. You got Larson up there in the middle. They're 3 wide right now on the exit of turn 4. So I mean, they're racing pretty hard. But you're going to notice as actually the 9 catches the ball. But look at this right here. We'll pause it. Up ahead, they're showing some signs of kind of all just kind of being planned to run the exact same line. There's a little bit of differences, but the reason I'm talking about it is because there's more here in a few moments that kind of reinforces that. As you can see, Komodo now on the hood cam here on the outside of the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. Now Texas is a bottom feeder track. That's the way around Texas, so it's expected that the AI are going to all kind of cover off that inside. You see that right there? The 22 and the 2. Let's run that back. Logano is practically locked on Cindric's bumper, and they proceed. Look at this. They follow the exact same line down the racetrack. I mean, it could not be any more perfect. So that's not what we want to see. That takes so much life and immersion feel out, because it feels so robotic, and that's exactly what they did right there. But like I said, I'm not going to be very hard on it yet, because it was mentioned by Komodo that they acknowledged that this is some AI issues, and that was not final for NASCAR 25. If this is what we got when the game released, I would have a pretty big problem with that, and would certainly make note of that in my review and whatnot. But as of right now, it's just an early look, so I'm going to be a little bit easy on it for now, but it's certainly something to pay attention to. Once again, I'm noticing, and it could just be AI settings, but it could just be the way the game is. We're only on lap 8 of this race, and look how separated the field is. And in this era of NASCAR, this would be unheard of in 8 laps. They do not spread out this much in 8 laps of racing anywhere, like in maybe a road course, but at 10 laps in, I mean, they just don't get this far apart. A good 20 laps or so. I mean, if they kind of slowly spread them out more over the race, I would say, yeah, it's more accurate, but they spread out super quick here. And I mean, look at the track map as well. You can see all the spread throughout the field. But like I said, again, I'll go easy on them for now until we get, confirmation of the final product of this game. But I mean, overall, outside of some of these flaws, it looks like, of course, gateway gameplay from Jeff was really promising. The official gameplay we got earlier today was super promising as well. This is kind of the first bit of gameplay where I'm like, ooh, the AI kind of, they don't look incredibly great, but the controller handling looks really solidly well done. I mean, all these creators are having a pretty easy time just hopping on a controller and being up to speed in the game and finding some pace, which is a really good sign of things to come. And for me as well, what I really liked is it looks pretty smooth. One of my hatreds of playing racing games on a controller is how twitchy it can be, and it feels weird, and it also looks really bad. But this game, it doesn't look like that. It looks pretty smooth, so it looks like they've definitely put a lot of emphasis on the controller play in NASCAR 25, and hopefully the wheel play is going to be really good as well. But yeah, I mean, overall it just looks really good. Again, visually, we still haven't seen if there's a leaderboard or if there's a car status kind of overlay for the game in the actual race itself, so that's that's something I would want to see. I would like to see some caution gameplay as well, but we haven't seen any of that yet. There was more gameplay from other YouTubers as well, like the Iceberg, but I didn't reach out to any of them for permission or anything, so I didn't bother to use their gameplay. I just feel like that wouldn't be right to do. So I just want to say huge thanks to Jeff Faviano, as always. I mean, such an awesome dude. Komodo Gaming as well, and for allowing me to use their footage in this video and take a look at it and kind of talk about what we're seeing here. I am hopeful that I'll have some news to share as soon as next week, but I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but stay tuned. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me. What did you like from the gameplay? What didn't you like? Because, you know, for me, the likes were, I mean, the Gateway gameplay looked great. The AI were leaving room, maybe too much room at times. There's a bit of a, you know, tweaking I think needed there. The Texas one looked pretty rough. Just noticing some of the kind of gridlocky and kind of planted to one lane. So, like I said, I think as we get closer to release, hopefully we'll get some more gameplay as well, and kind of maybe on a more up-to-date version of the game. And because keep in mind, this gameplay here was recorded you know, a good few weeks back at least, so it's gonna be interesting to see, you know, where we end up here. But I've still got quite a bit of excitement with what I'm seeing. I mean, the game just looks like it runs well, it looks like it plays well, and it looks like an overall really smooth experience, which is something we've all been dying for 5 years now, and I feel like we're finally getting that. So nonetheless, that does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.